Hello everyone and welcome to section 5 of our presentation, Do's and Don'ts as a J-1 student. My name is David Sappenfield and I'm an International Student Advisor here in the ISSO. In this section, we'll be talking about things that you definitely should be doing during your time as a student at Iowa State, as well as things that you should avoid as an international student in the US. The first thing that you should definitely do as a J-1 international student is to receive reliable immigration advice, because ultimately you are personally responsible for maintaining your immigration status in the US. And if you were to violate your immigration status, then it would be you that would face the consequences. 3 tips that we have. First, be sure to check your immigration documents regularly to ensure that they are accurate and up to date. Second, ask questions whenever you have them, especially if you are not sure if something is allowed or not, then ask before you do anything uncertain. Immigration regulations are full of these gray areas, so we may not always be able to answer every question you have with 100% certainty, but we will do our best to provide reliable advice based on the information that we have at the time. Finally, our advice would be to read all emails from ISSO. While some of our emails may be general reminders or information about social events or things you might not be interested in, others might be communicating important deadlines or some sort of action that you need to take. Please be sure you read and acknowledge every email you receive from our office, and if you have any questions, please be sure to respond and follow up with us. When receiving immigration advice, only seek out reliable sources. Your best first point of contact would be our office. That's literally our job, and that's what we're trained to do. Secondly, you may receive advice or accurate information from U.S. government agencies such as Department of State, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, Citizenship and Immigration Services, also called USCIS, that's a big one, or Customs and Border Protection, CBP. Places that are not reliable sources of immigration advice, first would be your friends, even if they are international students themselves. Everyone's situation can be different, and advice may depend on country of citizenship, education level, major, college, or your personal background. Second, faculty or academic advisors are excellent resources when seeking advice on your academic success and obtaining your degree from Iowa State. However, you should not seek immigration advice from them. While many have familiarity with the unique needs and requirements of international students, which is a very good thing, they are not necessarily trained on the nuance of international student regulations, and they're not qualified to give formal advice. Finally, and most importantly, do not trust what you read on the internet. So often we have had links shared with us as advisors where the anonymous person posting online is just completely wrong or giving misleading advice. While the main sources of misinformation are usually sites like Reddit or Quora, which rely on comments from anonymous users, this could also extend to media outlets and news articles which may be incorrect on international student news. Our first don't. Do not do anything to violate your immigration status. Sound advice. Violating your immigration status could lead to immediate departure from the U.S. and could impact the ability for you to complete your degree. Further violations would immediately impact any work authorization you have, if it's on campus or off campus, as well as your eligibility for future work authorization, such as academic training. The most common ways a student would violate their immigration status, first would be letting the program end date on your form DS 2019 expire when you've not finished your program. Please be sure to keep an eye on your DS 2019 program end date, and if you get within a few months of that expiration date and you are certain that you will not complete your academic program in time, then be sure to request a program extension with our office. Second, employment in the U.S. is taken very seriously, so you must ensure that you always have the appropriate employment authorization. For on-campus employment, that means paying very close attention to the number of hours you are working and ensuring that you are not exceeding 20 hours per week during the fall or spring semester. For off-campus employment, that means ensuring that you request your work authorization early, well in advance of your planned start date, and that you receive your employment authorization before ever working for a company. Similarly, if you plan to extend your work authorization with the same company, such as the extension of an internship, then you need to make sure that you have received your new authorization before the current one expires. Finally, and we'll talk a bit more about this in a future slide, it is a requirement of all J-1 students and their J-2 dependents to have health insurance coverage during their time in the United States. Willfully failing to maintain health insurance coverage is a violation of your J-1 immigration status. Another thing that you must do every year you are in the United States is file a tax return. Anyone residing in the US must do this, even if they have only spent one calendar day in the US for that year. And this is regardless of if you have worked in the United States during that year or not. Please note, ISSO advisors are not tax professionals, and we cannot directly help you file your taxes. However, our office understands that the US tax system is overly complicated, and even for US citizens, trust me. So we do provide students with some assistance during tax season. First, we provide students that are non-residents for tax purposes. That's most J-1 students during their first 5 calendar years in the US, with access to a tax software called Sprintax. Filing your federal tax return is free of charge with your ISSO access code. However, there may be a separate fee for filing a state tax return. Due to these recent changes in tax code, many non-residents have faced a tax bill in the spring when filing their previous year's taxes. We would advise that you account for this possibility in your yearly budgeting and thoroughly review the ISSO Taxes resource page on our website for tax filing tips. Our fourth piece of advice: do not get arrested, receive a citation, or engage in any sort of criminal activity in the United States. Criminal activity may lead to visa revocation and, in certain cases, removal proceedings. For university students, a major concern can be alcohol, marijuana, or tobacco use. Please note that the legal age to purchase or use alcohol or tobacco is 21 years old. It is also illegal to purchase alcohol or tobacco for someone else who is under the age of 21. For marijuana, it is still considered an illegal drug by the federal government, even though it may be legal for recreational use in certain US states. As your non-immigrant status is granted by the federal government, we would not advise J-1 students use marijuana, even if you are present in a state where it is legal. Another area of concern can be driving and motor vehicle citations. U.S. driving laws may differ from your home country, and they can even differ between U.S. states. In the state of Iowa specifically, a speeding violation while driving is considered a misdemeanor, meaning it could carry additional penalties. If you choose to drive while in the U.S., you must have a valid driver's license and valid vehicle insurance. Driving regulations are overseen by the Iowa Department of Transportation. Finally, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs is not only very dangerous for you or the people around you, but it is also a very serious crime in the United States. Arrest could negatively impact your immigration status or ability to remain or return to the U.S. in the future. Health insurance is an important topic in the United States. As mentioned previously, all J-1 students and their J-2 dependents are required to have health insurance during their time in the U.S. Iowa State University also requires this of all students in a non-immigrant visa status. Students are automatically enrolled, so there's no action that you need to take. For students with a graduate assistantship, your hiring department will pay for single coverage and will subsidize a portion of spouse or family coverage. However, if you lose your graduate assistantship position in the future, you will need to plan for health insurance as a significant expense. If you do have J-2 dependents, such as a spouse or a child, it is your responsibility to ensure that they are enrolled in the health care coverage with the ISU Student and Scholar Health Insurance Program. Different from many other countries, dental insurance is separate from health insurance. You will not be automatically enrolled in dental insurance, so you must choose whether or not you will add it to your coverage. We would strongly encourage that you consider adding this dental insurance, as dental procedures in the US can be expensive. Health insurance is generally a gamble. You may pay into it every year but not use it, or you may require an unexpected procedure where your health insurance coverage saves you thousands of dollars. It is a known fact that medical procedures in the US can be extremely expensive and cost thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. As someone choosing to live in the United States, you need to plan for potential medical issues. University or ISSO funding will likely not be available to support medical bills. Our final piece of advice: do not fall victim to a scam. Scams are attempts from strangers to illegally receive money or personal information through deception, threats, and intimidation. It is an unfortunate reality that scams are on the rise worldwide, and international students can be specifically targeted. Common scam tactics include threatening the person with deportation or arrest, saying you must pay them in gift cards or other untraceable currency, or claiming to be from a government agency. If you're the victim of a scam, we would encourage you to report the scam to ISSO or the ISU or Ames police. A few tips on avoiding scams. First, beware of fake job postings. There has been an increase in job interviews or even job offers where the applicant doesn't even speak with a person. If the interview process is being completed only over chat or email, be careful about what personal information you are providing. Never give personal information such as a social security number or bank details over phone, email, or through an untrusted web link. Next, we recommend setting up voicemail on your phone and screening calls from unknown numbers. If it is an important call, they should leave a message. Finally, do not send payments without a receipt or paper trail. This would certainly include cash and gift cards, but even money sent via app transfers like Venmo or other providers can be difficult to recover if you later learn that it was a scam or went to the wrong person.